Hello, Dr. Priyanka Soni. I welcome you to the MedEdge podcast. Let's start with a brief introduction about who Dr. Priyanka Soni is.
I'm Dr. Priyanka Soni. I work at Mahatma Gandhi Medical College and Hospital at Jaipur, which is in Rajasthan in India. And I am a pediatric hemato-oncologist and a bone marrow transplant physician. So that means I look after the children who have blood-related disorders and malignancies. And we also do a bone marrow transplant for relevant indications.
Okay, so let's dive into the topic. I'd like to know when can we know the bone marrow transplant (BMT) procedure is successful?
So bone marrow transplant, when it is done for a particular indication, whether it is a malignant indication or a non-malignant indication, it is important to know whether it is successful or not. And the first thing which we judge is by looking the patient clinically, whether there is a clinical improvement, and by indirect methods, that is by knowing whether the patient has achieved engraftment or not. So that is probably the first sign. Engraftment means when the neutrophil are more than 500 for 3 consecutive days without any GCSF support, and when the platelets are more than 20,000 for 7 days when they are not transfused. So these are the two things with which we can do. Then there are certain special tests also which are done at specific time points.
Okay, so you told about malignant and non-malignant. Can you explain what that?
So malignant means cancers, the all the transplants which are done for the patient who have cancer, whether it could be blood cancer or any solid tumors. And non-malignant means the disorders of blood related to like thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, aplastic anemia, immunodeficiency disorders. These are all the non-malignant disorders.
Okay, cool. What are the methods to know that a transplant is successful or not?
So there are various methods, and the most which are based on the genetic profiling. So that method, that test is called as chimerism analysis.
Okay.
So in the chimerism analysis, we look at the donor cells inside the body of the patient, inside the body of the recipient. So we are actually finding the percentage of donor cells inside the body of the recipient. So if the percentage of donor cells is more than 95%, that means the patient has achieved full chimerism. That is a good indication. The second, if it is between 5 to 95%, that means the patient has got mixed chimerism. But if it is less than 5% at the first time point, which is day 28, that means that the patient has primary graft failure. So, which is the bad news.
Okay, when are these tests done? To
So, so this test, the first test of chimerism analysis is usually done at day plus 28.
Okay.
And then subsequently at day plus 60, day plus 90. So these days are counted from the day the transplant has been done. That is considered as day 0. And from there onwards, we measure chimerism at various time points.
Okay, good. That was very informative. Uh, and if the test report is good, does it ensure lifelong success?
So I would say it is not like that, because transplant is a continuous process where once the transplant has been done and engraftment has been achieved, even after that there are a lot of variations in the body which are ongoing, lot of cells which are changing in the body. So this is an ongoing process, and that is why we have to monitor the chimerism at various time points.
Okay.
So day plus 28 is an indication that yes, the cells have engrafted, but yes, there could be a secondary graft failure. So at different time points. So you have to monitor the patient at day 28, day 60, day 90, at least till 1 year. And or earlier, if there is any clinical guide, like if there is a patient is having suddenly low counts, fever, or any symptoms which point us towards a graft rejection, then we have to do it at an earlier time point also.
Okay, great. So what happens? I think that's answered if the tests turn out to be unfavorable.
Yes, so that is bad news. If it is unfavorable, like if the engraftment or if the chimerism is very low at the first time point, that is day plus 28, that is primary graft failure. That is the bad news, because the patient has lost all the graft. But yes, if it is a mixed chimerism kind of a picture, which is at a later time point, then there are other methods to increase the chimerism by changing the drugs, by doing a donor lymphocyte infusion, and there are other medical methods by which we try to do it. So if you talk about cancer, leukemias for which we are doing transplant, it's a really bad news, because we want the donor cells inside the body of the patient so that they can fight with the cancer. But for certain diseases like immunodeficiency disorders, the patients can have good immunity or good protection by having a low chimerism also. So with the mixed chimerism also, they can survive and have a good outcome. So it depends on for which indication we have done the transplant.
Okay, if the primary test fails, do the patient has to go through one more transplantation process?
Yes, so if it is a primary graft failure, if the patient is having severe cytopenias, that is low counts, we might have to go for a second bone marrow transplant also. But the incidence of primary graft failure is very low. It is less than 10% in like most of the studies. So it is not very common to have primary graft failure.
Okay, okay. Uh, I think we have concluded pretty much everything. So before winding up, I'd like to know what inspired you to take this position, and also a message to the younger professionals who want to take up this career.
So I would say that I belong to a part of the country where we had no facility for pediatric hematological disorder per se. And I always had a thought that I should go and practice at a place where the facility is lacking. I had an attraction toward hematology, like academic attraction. Whenever I read hematology, I felt fascinated about the blood cells and all. So that is how I took up the subject. And then I thought that I will take up and work in an area where the facility is lacking so that more patients could be benefited. And I would say that for younger generation, it's a very complicated branch. But if you really work hard, if you have passion for it, for working for pediatric patient with cancer, who can have a very good outcome with current therapy, then you should definitely go for it.
That is the satisfaction
Yes.
that you have. Okay, great, great. Thank you very much for your insight. It was a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate the time that you have given us. We will be willing to have more such interviews in the future as well. Thank you very much.